Hi, and another one bites the dust indeed. Welcome to the latest video we're doing for Badger spectra-tex paints. This week we're going to do something completely different. People have emailed me and asked me, can we do a project that's more for a beginner, because some of the projects we've done are a bit advanced for the absolute beginner. So what we've done this time, we're going to do this original design, and it's based on an original drawing I did specifically for this project. I've done that in ink, and then what we've done, we've had it screen printed onto a grey shirt, and all of the tones, all the black tones have been printed in a very light grey, and this is going to provide a very simple guide, and then you can try out different spectra-tex paints and experiment and still end up with a really good t-shirt at the end of it. That's the idea. Okay, so let me talk you through what gear we're using, and then we'll begin. What we're going to be using today are, as previously, spectra-tex paints by Badger, but specifically we're going to be using the neon range, which are basically a kind of fluorescent colour. They're very, very bright colours, and they're perfect to do this kind of effect, which is almost an iridescent effect. It's not quite, they're not really iridescent, but chameleons are very bright, and they're known for their ability to change the colour of their skin. Okay, so if you're going to play along at home, the colours you'll need are neon lemon 55164, neon green 55165, neon bright orange, neon orange 55166, and neon wild berry 55170. Now, as an alternative, if you want it slightly brighter, you can use this neon rose, which is neon pink, sorry, 55163. And as you can see, these bottles are slightly discoloured because I've been spraying all over them, but these are the basic colours you'll need to do this project. You'll need a true blue, which isn't neon, it's an opaque colour, it's 55179, and we'll use that for some shadow areas, and also the standard opaque jet black 55146, because as you'll see as the video progresses, the edge of the shirt will disappear as you paint these leaf shapes in and break up the edge of the shirt. But you'll need the black to delineate around the letter forms, etc. Okay, let's begin. Okay, I tend to start with yellow, because I work on these kind of projects, work light to dark, because if you don't like what you've done with the yellow, you can go over it with the orange or the green or even the pink. So just basically loosely draw in wherever you want to begin. I start on the head and just dust in some colour. Like so. I mean, the tongue's going to be pink, but the beauty of this design is that there's no rules. You can paint whichever leaves you want, whichever colour you want. You can paint with the text whatever colour you want, but I'm breaking it into basically 4 bands. So I'm going to have a yellowy green band, there's an orange band, and then there's like a darker green and purple. And you can introduce a 5th colour if you want, but I found that this is probably about right. So do a few leaves, and then decide how many letters you want to do. And this is a perfect beginner's project, because you can be as sloppy as you want, and you'll still get a striking image at the end of it. Now, when you get to certain letters, you can, if you want, paint half the letter one colour, and then we'll come back with another colour, and we'll meet that colour coming this way, and you get a nice blend. Again, the log, just put a bit of colour on, and work your way down till you've got, and across, so you've got you've got a strip of colour, as if the chameleon is being influenced by the background colour. Like so. And just generally dusting. And these leaves, if you want, do one or two of the leaves half coloured, so we can have a little. Then we're going to change to neon green. I don't think I mentioned which airbrush I'm using. I'm using the Badger 155 Anthem, which is probably the best all-round airbrush pound for pound you can get. You know, it's probably the most reliable and, you know, easily to obtain parts airbrush that's out there. You know, I am slightly biased because I've been using it for a long time. So change to green, and then we'll start doing some softer blends in the shadow areas under the eye, etc. Okay. Gently in the shadow areas, use the green as like a darker version of the yellow. If you show me, what I'm going to do, as I dust a bit of green on top of the yellow, it makes more of a lime green. So under the eye, I'm going to just put a bit of tone. That line there, and then under the, I won't say lip, but under the edge of the mouth there. And then what you can do here is where I've drawn the markings, you can do the same kind of mark. Put a little bit of shadow area there, a bit of shadow area here, a bit of shadow area here. Now when you come onto the log, come in quite close and use a little bit of air, a little bit of paint, and draw more of a line, and then start adding some textures to the log, like so, and that gives it a bit more texture. Now, as I said, these leaves, we can start one side of the leaf, add some green and blend it out, like so there. This leaf that's behind that leaf there, put a bit of shadow and it looks like it's sitting behind it. Same again there and here. And then the letters, we can kind of make some of these letters green now. And then blend that in. So you've got a pure green letter, a blended letter, and then a yellow letter. Like so. I'm just referring to my original test one, just to see what I've done. But the beauty of this, you don't have to copy what I'm doing slavishly. You can basically take the theme and do your own thing, and it's a good exercise in learning how to airbrush. Learn how to use these spectra-tex range of colours. So you can see I'm being very loose at the moment. You know, because we're in the animal kingdom, it's very organic. Unlike when you're painting machinery, which is very hard and mechanical, this is very easy to kind of be free forming, really, you know. So you know, think like a chameleon. Now my advice with the green, don't go too green too quickly, because we want to leave room now for the really bright colours, the orange and the pink. If you make it too green, it'll just look like a lizard, and we're not painting a lizard, we're deliberately painting a chameleon. And you know, you want people to see it's a chameleon, not just a lizard, which is kind of a bit dull compared to the multi-coloured chameleon. And change to neon orange. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to do the bulk of the body orangey pink because I think that'll be the most striking colour. But when you get to the green, because you're using an airbrush, it's the best tool in the world to blend by far. So use that to its advantage and blend in. Now here where the muscle of the leg is defined, you can make that a little bit darker and blend it out again, and slowly, don't forget you can go over all these colours again, but try and use the full intensity of the neon range, because I don't know how well they'll come out on screen, but they're really vibrant colours. Again, doing leaf. At this stage you can be really sloppy if you want to be. I can go on to that green a bit if I want to. What I might do, I might leave the two edges, the letters at the beginning and the end, I might make them both pink. So it's almost like the shirt goes round through this range of colours and back round to pink again, and to tie it all together. But you know, you can experiment and try out whatever you want to do. But now we've got to the edge of the design. Where I've done half a leaf, your job now is to complete that leaf like so. Just draw a leaf shape, a basic leaf shape, you know, and then colour it in. And if you want, you can add an extra leaf there, you know, and we'll do some more in different colours. But break up the edge of the design so that you can be as free as you want. Add leaves if you want, add leaves ad hoc, and then what that will do is we put some blue in and some shadow areas and some black, it'll just break up the rectangle. We're going to lose this rectangle, and it's important you lose a rectangle because it then won't look like you started with a screen print, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is a great way to learn how to airbrush and learn how to airbrush t-shirts, because you haven't got to worry about the design, that's sorted. You haven't got to worry about your layout and your structure. All you've got to worry about is colour and learning to control the airbrush, which is, you know, why you've tuned into this channel today. Okay, when you get to the tail, don't just solidly colour it in. You can use a lot of artistic license to kind of create, that feeling of that sort of swirl. You can either do it with tone or you can do it with colour, or as I like to do it, with a combination. Because after the weird eye and the colour, the ability to change colour, the tail is another really distinctive thing that the chameleon has, you know, that people think of. And the weird, like, it's got a three toes, is it 2 toes or 3 toes, I can't remember. It's got a weird foot, or hands as well, whatever you call them. You're not hands, are they? But anyway. Now, if you're new to airbrushing, you obviously know, the double action airbrush is down for air and then back for paint. Like so. But if you want to do some detail, what you do, you get in tight, and then you start to push down on the air, just let as little as you can, and as little as paint as you can, until eventually you'll get a line. So you just gently come in tight, and if you can draw some lines on this log, like I'm doing here, you'll actually create far more texture than if you just do. If I just do flat colour like that, I'm letting some of the design show through. But if I come in with the airbrush like so and start putting some lines in, I'm actually creating more interest and more things for the eye to pick up, you know, like so. Now here I've got a leaf with 3 colours you can do if you want. Blend a bit of a 3-colour leaf, you know, because who's to say a leaf is just 1 colour, especially if you're in the fantasy world. So again, I can be as sloppy as I want with these lessons because I'm going to go around them afterwards. I can chuck some orange on. I think of all the fluorescents, the orange is the most garish. So you've got to use it quite sparingly. I've gone a bit crazy, it looks like, but when I bring some blue in, I'll damp it all down. And again, here you can draw some leaves to break this edge up now. So I'll just draw some leaves, and then I'll bring in some pink, etc, etc. I'm just trying to think what I did before. Like so, and then okay, and then finally changed to well, I'm using neon wild berry, which is like a pinky purple, and I like it because it's halfway between pink and purple. Now you'll notice I've left the tongue till the end. That's because that's got to be pink. So check your pinky purple's done, and then gently drop that in. You notice how the pink contrasts with the green, which is what we want. And then start to introduce some pink. And what I've done here is I've left some areas. I'm going to chuck some pink in. And again, the pinky purple, like the orange, is very, very garish, so use it sparingly, you know. The green looks the most natural, obviously, because it's nature, but you can use the red, the pink, to add these little details. And that really starts to bring out the texture of the chameleon. Now, the areas I haven't defined, I'm going to bring in using a bit more pink now. I want to go around everything with black or the blue. This will start to stand out a bit better, but at the moment I'm almost improvising and seeing what I can get away with. I'll blend some of the pink into the orange. Some of these leaves. I think I'm doing low on paint there. That's more or less the orange done for the time being. Okay, switch to opaque jet black. Which I'll put in my regular bottle because I'm more used to it. What we're going to do is simply basically outline everything now. So, all the areas that were really negative shapes, start to draw them in. And this is probably the most difficult part of the project because the colour is quite easy, but you've got to practice getting really tight control. I mean, if you've got a single action airbrush, maybe set it for a line, so you can just draw one continuous line, like so. And when you get more practice, you can use double action. But the only way to get better at doing single lines is to practice, and just do it till you become confident, basically. For example, here, to delineate the edge of the chameleon, I've got to do a zigzaggy line. So I'll get to the point. If you zoom in, if you get to the point where I've got a comfortable line, then basically it's just a case of zigzagging. Once you put that in, like so, and that gives you the most chameleon-esque shape you can do on here. And then once you start putting in the shapes behind, there's like a small leaf there. You can then refine what you've done. This will take a while, you know, and don't rush. It's one of those things you just got to sit there and work your way through. It's a very enjoyable process. The other thing you need to do, these leaves you've drawn, just outline them a bit more precisely. I sometimes put a line in the middle, etc. And this log, you can take that outside the rectangle again, etc., etc. So what we'll do in a second is we'll cut, and through the magic of television, we'll come back when all the black's done. The other thing I'll say rather is here under the limbs, use the black quite loosely, so you actually got a shadow in there. The same with all these shapes. See, that was quick, wasn't it? So that's more or less it. You just outline everything with the black, and then break up the rectangle, and it really starts to get. It's not a nice kind of organic feel. It's kind of nice. It's got a nice kind of almost like a mural feel. You know, it's lots of colour, lots of things to keep your eye interested. Okay, and to finish off, I'm using opaque True Blue, just to put around the edges to create a bit of a colder shadow to help the pink and the orange stand out a bit. And I've used it in some of the shadow areas. This is bottles and the empty actually. But, that's just a little finishing touch. Okay. Okay, that's more or less it. And as I said at the beginning, this is an exclusive shirt we've done for spectra-tex. Now you can either, if you're on YouTube watching this, if you scroll down a little bit underneath, you'll see where you can buy spectra-tex products in the UK. If you're in America, go to badger.com or spectra-tex.com, but the UK dealer is listed below. and you can either buy this shirt from them or you can buy it directly from me. But the guys at Barwell Body Works, they're doing a kit, so you can buy this shirt plus all of the fluorescent paints needed to do it. So you can buy the whole caboodle. You get the shirt and all of the paint needed, which is a good way to start. And they'll sell you the airbrush as well if you haven't got an airbrush. So this is basically you know, a really good bet if you're a beginner and you want to you just want to learn the fundamentals of how to use an airbrush. This takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, and you end up with a nice flamboyant shirt after all your hard work. Okay, well, join us on the next video, which will probably be another exciting spectra-tex product. See you next time.